So this is a quick tutorial on why and how to use the HedgeNote default template. So let's start with the why. So why use the HedgeNote template? The HedgeNote template was developed as a way to simply create a hedged strategy. So what do I mean by hedged? I simply mean a risk managed strategy. So we might say, my goal for the day might be to cut the grass, right? For example. Um, that is a very straightforward strategy, but with strategies that you might be producing for work, you might have specific risk that might be associated. There might be a snake in the grass or something that usually are there are dangers. So, like for example, investors might use HedgeNote because they want to create a portfolio, but they think that they know that the price of gold or oil is going to go up, but they want to hedge it. So this kind of gives you a way of looking at any strategy, whether it's cutting the grass or investing in something or a business strategy like how to boost sales, from kind of like a hedge fund manager or an investment banking kind of way in which you're looking to diversify your efforts, and you're taking both moonshots as well as kind of the safety aspects, and we'll get into that. So the first thing you really do with HedgeNote is you define your objective. So this is anything, right? Like this is what I want to do. So right at the top, you kind of say, this is what I want to do. So for example, I might say, I would like to get a 20% return on my investment in the next 3 days. Okay. Failure definition. Now, the reason that the failure definition is here, it's not the opposite of that. It's not, well, if I don't get 20%, then I fail. It's like, what's the actual, like, if you weren't even have done anything, would have just been horrible. So, for example, a failure definition in this example might be if I lose 20% of my portfolio. And the reason that you have to define that differently than you define your objectives because you're saying this is what I'm going to avoid at all costs. And that's really important in developing strategies and ideas that will actually work. So after you've gotten through the failure definition, the next area is the possible safety measures. So the safety measures are measures you can take that you could do with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back. These are things that you know you could for sure do that will for sure work, right? So for investments, it might be, I'm if I go long 3x leverage, but I buy a fixed income that's actually 80% of the portfolio. Even if I lose everything in that 20% that is leveraged, I will still make all of that back with this fixed income investment that I made that's 80% of my portfolio. Something like that. So safety measures that you can take. And then you have the moonshots. These are the things that are kind of crazy, that but would really get you to where you want to go. So you could put that. If you're going to a conference, for example, you're trying to meet people. Let's say your objective in going to the conference is to come away with 2 sales, right? You're going to go to a conference, you're going to meet people. Now, these are the variable things. You can't for sure say that you're going to meet someone and get sales. But for example, a moonshot might be go into groups and then just pitch the idea randomly to 10 people, or something like that. So these are things that you're going to do that are variable really, and then the other things are just fixed. You can for sure do them. Then you're going to go down to selected measures and moonshots. So the safety measures and the moonshots were kind of just brainstorming ideas. So that's what you really do there. Just kind of brainstorm. Just these are some crazy ideas. These are things. And the reason that there's only a few of slots for each is they should be kind of summary. This is kind of to help you go into another template or another notepad, another blank template, and kind of further your ideas, etc. But to keep everything kind of simple, you select your measures and shots, and then here's where you're kind of saying, okay, well, I of all looking at all of these crazy ideas, these moonshots, and these safety measures, these are the ones I'm actually going to go for. So you select those after reviewing everything above that, and then you go to the allocations pie. And the allocations pie is really the meat of this. This is where you, in that bottom little section, you say, here's the time I have and here's the money I have. So let's say I have 5 hours or something, and I have $30 or $30,000 or whatever it is. But you're basically saying this is the amount of time I'm going to spend on this objective, and you kind of focus on your failure definition. When you then go to your allocations pie, you say, okay, I'm going to allocate this amount of time to this particular selected measure or shot. And the idea is you want to have if you have 4 hours, let's say that your safety measures will take up 3 hours. Then 75% of your pie will be safety measures, right? And then the 25% can be spent on moonshots because you're definitely going to hit all the stuff that are fixed. And that's when you kind of decide, okay, how much time do you want to spend on each moonshot? And you kind of really draw that out. You visualize it, and then now you have a hedged strategy. You started with an objective, you defined your failure. That has a profound effect on what you do, because just because you set an objective doesn't mean defining failure is so important, and that goes into what you allocate and how you allocate your time. So it's really to hedge everything and really get the most out of what you're doing. And over time, the idea is that with risk managed strategies, you will win. Thanks for watching, and that's pretty much a quick tutorial on how HedgeNote works and how to use it.